the election of Jay Jones in Virginia is the most shocking development in our generation. That a man could say these things and win. And Democrats have made clear in Virginia, they not only that, but the man didn't lose any endorsements and his polls barely dropped. I think it's time that the Republicans in this country wake up to what Democrats are telling you. I will say it again. The election of Jay Jones, I believe, is one of the most shocking developments on par with some of the biggest political scandals in the history of this country.
I think we need to get back to real politics again. You know, Congress, we used to have congressmen who would literally duel each other. They would challenge each other to duels. Like, I want to get back to real politics, and I think part of our issue is that the modern world is it's become so feminized that we don't think about, like...
Those duels were fake, though. Typically, when someone challenged...
You had people throwing punches in Congress.
That was always considered abhorrent. In typical duels, people would aim away and intentionally miss. There were a few instances where, with Hamilton and Burr, I think Hamilton aimed away as what most people did. The point of the duel was that you defended your honor, but you didn't actually kill each other. But Burr was like, nope, bang.
Yeah.
So while duels existed a long time ago, it got to a point where they were somewhat figurative, and then the younger generation, as it were at the time, abolished dueling because it was barbaric. I do want to add, we are now officially in the if Sliwa dropped out and endorsed Cuomo would have won territory. Mamdani's at 49.7. If you were to take all of Sliwa's votes and give them to Cuomo, it would be tied.
I do think that's a bit of a big ask, but yes. Mathematically, I don't know if Sliwa were to drop out of the race. I don't know if all the Republicans, would hold their tongues and voting for Cuomo.
I don't know. If I was in New York, I don't think I'd vote for Cuomo.
There's a lot of Republicans with a lot of bad blood towards Andrew Cuomo, who was their governor for some time, designed in disgrace, and then obviously had that really bad time during COVID where he was fighting with the president, and then he sent a bunch of, I believe, let me put an allegedly on that, where he sent sick old people back to their nursing homes to continue spreading COVID to other people in the nursing homes.
No, it wasn't old people. It was just patients in general. And we were wondering why sick people were being sent to nursing homes. It made no sense.
I'm pretty sure he was apologizing for that today. He was making some last-minute plea on Fox News to I'm sorry about the nursing home scandal. I don't know. Yeah, well, it might be a little bit too late for that, but
Sliwa is honestly more fundamentally an anti-Cuomo vote than an anti-Mamdani vote, because it's like, look, if you really cared about keeping Mamdani out, you would vote for Cuomo. So a vote for Sliwa is just saying, no, F you, Cuomo. I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon here. So, like, this idea that Cuomo, like you're saying, that Cuomo's votes automatically would go that Sliwa's votes would automatically go to Cuomo is just like, the reason you vote for Sliwa is because you hate Cuomo.
So also, Sliwa had every incentive to stay in the race. It increases his name ID, which helps him for his radio show, which will get him a bigger contract there. As I mentioned earlier, New York City has 8-to-1 matching funds, and then he picks where those donations are ultimately spent for his campaign. He has a lot of friends and family, allegedly, who are helping on the campaign. And it feels like a racket. I'm not saying it is, but it seems like a way for him to line him and his friends' pockets every year at the expense of the American taxpayer and ultimately the Republican Party, at least in New York.
Well, I mean,
if you're getting 8-to-1 matching funds, for every $250 that one of your supporters sends to you, you get $1,750 additional tax dollars that you're able to decide where to spend on just increasing your name ID as a politician. It's like, why would I drop out? I'm a politician. I have a huge ego. Obviously, I want my name out there. This benefits me. Maybe it'll help me in the next mayoral race.
How many times does Sliwa run?
More than 3 or 4. He runs every 2 years. He's like a gadfly, political gadfly.
NBC has an exit poll. The poll was, if only Mamdani and Cuomo were running, who do you voted for? 6% of people said, I just wouldn't vote. So it's like, yeah, people are going to try and, rake Sliwa through the coals here. But the reality is, these people were just, a good chunk of them were not going to vote for Cuomo.
It's so disgusting, again, how conservatives were willing to fight this losing battle on behalf of Democrats against this socialist. If New Yorkers want a socialist, give them a socialist, let them go through a socialist struggle, and they will come back. Okay,
They
will
won't.
come back for it, Julia. You're gonna have to let it burn, baby. Like Usher said, you just gotta let it burn.
The voting
That's how
base
it's got to
is-
be sometimes.
The voting base is gone.
That's what they want. No, but things will change, and the immigrant will change how immigration is done in New York
no, I
City.
don't know
And
about that.
History,
moreover,
listen, history says you're wrong. When socialist policies don't work, they don't say, well, let's try. Like the only time that I can think of where people said, let's try something different was in Argentina. And that was after, 30 years of
After the
socialist
economy
policies?
collapsed.
failing?
I think the shit will hit the fan, and then the pendulum will swing. Also, if I'm any Republican outside of New York City, I am loving this. Mamdani will be my permanent foil no matter who I run against. I will be running against Mamdani as a socialist, and this will be a drag on the Democrats nationwide. This can only work in New York City, and let him go for
It
it.
won't work because, like, look at because Mamdani would position America to be like South Africa. And look at South Africa. Everything goes wrong. Everything goes terribly. And the voters there, instead of saying, maybe we should vote for like the DA, like, the whatever party, instead they just go, maybe we're not being like African nationalists enough. Like voters that are voting for Mamdani, if he fails, they're going to say, maybe we just weren't resentful enough.
We
Maybe
didn't.
need to
Yeah,
get
we didn't
meaner.
socialism hard enough. That's what
think-
it happens. It happens. It's happened all over the world with different societies that have different cultures, different backgrounds, and the result is always the same. The policies don't work, so they say we need to institute more of the same policies. They never say, "Oh, we should try going back to free market and giving people more actual liberty," because the argument that the socialists make we're going to do this for the people. We're making people free by having these policies. We're helping to liberate you. The arguments that they make are totally disaligned with the reality of the policies that they implement, and so the people continue to believe it, and they vote for more and more and more. They never vote to have to restore power to the individuals.
Yeah, once freedom's gone, it's not easy to vote yourself back into freedom.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with Elaad. I think Republicans will use him as a scapegoat nationally, and that probably will help them. The issue I think I have is that we should not be saying, this is a problem with socialism. Why did all these young people start supporting socialism? The problem is that this guy is from Uganda. He's a foreigner who hates America. The first thing he does is he shows up to New York City and gives the middle finger to a Christopher Columbus statue. The nerve of these people is out of control. And this is not a cautionary tale about like socialism. This is a cautionary tale about letting these people into your country with no vetting, no assimilation, no discrimination at all against it doesn't matter where you come from. If you're from Uganda, you're going to assimilate as well as like a farmer from South Africa. No, that's not the case. We need to seriously address Muslim immigration in this country. So it's not a problem of like conservatives have been dancing around this for so long, like, oh, it's a socialism problem. No, it's an immigration problem.
Right.
Young men broke massively for the Democrats.
Right. Well,
NBC News exit polling: men 18 to 29, Spanberger plus 14, Sherrill plus 10, Mamdani plus 40.
because it's just like, what were the Republicans offering for young men? So it's like, what's the incentive there? And to Logan's point too, it's like America's flirted with socialism before. Like people don't realize, like there was a socialist party, La Follette, and then a lot of people evaluated it and said, actually, it's probably a bad idea. The problem is like, this is an entirely new paradigm. This isn't about Sharia law. This isn't about socialism. This is about third world resentment. And that's what we're dealing with. And people will not get that out of their heads because New York City's demographics have been radically altered. And these people are going to continue to vote for this. This happened in South Africa. This has happened elsewhere. It's not going to, you're not going to like, there's no debate club. There's no pocket constitution that you can give to them. And they'll be like, oh, I was totally wrong with the socialism. No, they're thinking,
You can't bring in non-Americans and then tell them to vote and then be surprised when your country implodes.
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Very simple. And also, while we're on the subject of socialism, I saw a headline the other day that like 40 million people are going to lose SNAP benefits. Why are 40 million people on SNAP? That sounds pretty like socialist to me. These welfare programs sound like we are conducting a little bit of now I'm not against like a social safety net. That's not what I'm arguing against. But 40 million people in our country taking these SNAP benefits, that's crazy.
Right. Well, it's a reward system from the Democrats. If only the
Yes, it is.
Republicans
Yes, it
could
is.
create something similar for their voters, because the Democrats they sweeten the pot for Democrat. When have Republicans done that?
The Republican Party, I was talking to a Republican guy a few months ago, and he said he was a fan of the show, and then he argued with me something about that we said on the show or whatever. And he's like, I love your show, but you said this, that, or other. I can't remember what the actual argument was. I just responded with, it's really funny that you like the show, you're a fan, and you're arguing with me that I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's why Republicans lose, because Democrats are retarded. And I'll give you a good example. Zoran Mamdani has no authority to make buses free, nor to make them go faster. That is not the purview of the mayor. So when he comes, he runs for office, and he says, I'll give you free money, people go, I'm the vote for him. And they do. Republicans can't compete with that, because Republicans are like, here's what happens. A Republican, or let's just say an intelligent person, sees two candidates. Mamdani goes, I'll give you free stuff. And he goes, you can't. That's a lie. The Republican then says, well, it's going to be tough, but I'll do my best to try and drive prices down with a few policies I can control in the mayor's office. They go, oh, okay, I'll vote for that guy. All the retarded people go, but he said free stuff. I'm going to vote for him. Mamdani can't actually deliver on any of those things, but stupid people can keep voting. Smarter people are going to flee because stupid people are taking over, and then you're going to get New York idiocracy.
Yeah. It's the only reason Chitterelli was even in this race was because so many people have fled New York City. They still had a gig in Manhattan, so they moved to. Is
it time for me to run for office and just double down? Like I was making the joke.
Please.
My buses won't be free. They'll pay you. Every time you get on my bus in New York, a $5 bill will pop out into your pocket.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that Republicans do desperately need to get better at, though, like Tate was alluding to.
Buying votes?
Patronage, yes, buying votes. That in a mass democracy, I'm sorry, we may not like it, but that is what is going to win you elections, is buying votes and looking out and taking care of your people, okay? So we might not enjoy it, but free buses does sound more like appealing to the average voter than what is courteously, maybe cleaning up crime is fine, but a lot of people are going to vote for the free stuff over the cleaning up the subway.
Yeah, the Treasury's being raided right now, so it's like you got to play ball.
If you're voting, if you're offering free stuff to votes, are you a conservative? Right? Are you a Republican if you're doing the same thing that Democrats are doing? Because this sounds to me just like, well, we're going to do what the Democrats are doing, but we're going to do it at the speed limit. It's the Michael Malice argument.
To a degree, no, but it's more that the average Republican voter is really concerned about A, being killed, but B, like social issues, et cetera, et cetera. It's like Logan said, it's more about you're just not going to win unless you create a patronage network, and it doesn't have to look like handouts. It's just like you gotta like make it worthwhile for a Republican to turn out and vote.
No, you're building a constituency.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.